Now on Saluki SportsView, we preview the men's MVC basketball tournament and talk about the time and date the Salukis play. We go behind the scenes of how video services prepare for a sports webcast, and we talk about the new wrestling club forming here at SIU. Saluki SportsView begins right now. Live from the campus of Southern Illinois University, Saluki SportsView begins right now.
We're back at it on the first Saluki SportsView of the spring. I'm Danny Valle, alongside Zach Scruggs. Tonight, we'll go behind the camera with Shane Gibbons and the Saluki All Access team to see what really goes on behind the screen.
And a wrestling revival taking place at the Rec Center. We take a look at this new and upcoming club that might soon hit the mats here at SIU.
But first, it seems every season there's a player that comes out of nowhere and rises to the occasion. Do you know who I'm thinking of, Zach?
I know exactly who you're thinking of. That player this time is Southern Illinois shooting guard, sensation, impressive freshman Dion Lavender, and he has become a force for the Saluki men's basketball team. Jasmine Brown has more on the story.
In just 30 games at SIU, Dion Lavender has already made a name for himself. He has become one of the team's rising stars, scoring a total of 179 points this season.
Well, I feel like I started off a little bit slow, and as the season went on, I started getting my feet under me, started playing better. So right now, I think I'm helping the team just scoring and playing better, a lot better defense than I was at the beginning of the year.
As a freshman, Lavender has taken the Missouri Valley Conference by storm, averaging 9 points a game in conference play. But if you ask him, he does not believe he's reached his full potential.
Probably like a C+.
A C minus?
Yeah.
Why just a C+?
I mean, there's still things that I can improve on. I mean, defensively, rebounding, passing, finding teammates. I mean, there's still things that I can improve on outside of scoring.
Lavender has had a lot of support in his playing career. His father, Dillian, was an assistant coach for his high school in Alton, Illinois. Even though he has new coaches to work with, they make him feel right at home, and his father is not too far away.
He comes to almost every game, so I think he's only missed like 2 games all year. So, I mean, he comes and we talk after every game, and we just try to stay in touch.
Lavender's exceptional play has earned him 11 starts for the Salukis this season. Head coach Barry Henson believes that the sky's the limit for the first-year guard.
Everybody knows how good he is. So that'll come down to how hard does he want to work at the end of this season to prepare for next year, because now there's a bullseye on you, there's a target on your back, and everybody knows about you. So it's a little bit easier to do that sometimes as a freshman because people don't know. But now all of a sudden the secret's out.
For Saluki SportsView, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Dion Lavender says he hopes to keep up his impressive season as he and the men's basketball team take on Drake University this Saturday at home. Senior day tip-off is at 3:05 p.m.
Speaking of basketball, Arch Madness begins next week. No, I did not mispronounce March Madness. It is Arch Madness, the Missouri Valley Conference tournament played in St. Louis. The winner of the tournament receives an automatic bid to play in the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Arch Madness consists of all Missouri Valley teams, including number 10 Northern Iowa and number 11 Wichita State.
For me as a coach, I think it's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity for our fans, and we'll come in here tomorrow. We'll start putting together a game plan, and all I know is who I am, and I'm going to come in here and fight my butt off.
The Dogs can claim the 9th seed with a win and a Bradley loss. Otherwise, they'll be the 10th seed. Arch Madness begins next Thursday and runs until Sunday.
When you're debating on who is the MVP, popularity, scoring averages, and winning percentage come into play. With an outstanding season, Rashonda Napier explains to Saluki SportsView's Alan Self what is valuable to her.
My name is Rashonda Napier, and you're watching Saluki SportsView.
The season for the Lady Salukis has dramatically changed since last year. Point guard Rashonda Napier is back from injury, and their record is tremendously better than last year, in which they only won 5 games. But if you ask Rondo if the reason for the team's success is her, she'd tell you otherwise.
Despite the amount of winning difference from this year to last year, I just feel a certain maturity in my team that just wasn't there before, and we're a lot more tougher, and we're fighting for each other in ways that we hadn't had in the past. So I'm very pleased with that.
Even though Napier is morally team first, her play on the court makes her stand out, scoring the most three-pointers and averaging the most points on the team. This Lady Saluki shares what the playoffs mean to her.
Like it's our last practice we'll ever practice in our lives, because after these next 3 games, if you lose, there is no tomorrow. Once you get to the tournament and postseason, hopefully, if you lose, you go home. So what we have to do is just play like that and realize that tomorrow isn't promised.
One thing that is promised is that their coach, Cindy Stein, will be on their backs until this season is over.
She just makes us believe in ourselves. She puts us all in the right positions to be successful. She tells you exactly what she needs from you, so there's no confusion. And she just demands a certain toughness out of you. And you know for a fact that she cares. So whenever she does get on your case or tell you something, you know that it's to benefit you.
At SIU Arena, I'm Alan Self for Saluki SportsView.
The women's basketball team will participate in the MVC tournament from March 12th through the 15th in St. Charles, Missouri. The women's swimming and diving team competed at the MVC tournament and walked away with incredible accomplishments. Sydney Kessler dives into that story coming up next.
And we'll take a look at one of the best throwing programs in the country right here in our own backyard, Danny. Stay tuned, sports viewers. We'll be right back.
If you've kept up with River Region Evening Edition, you know that the SIU swimming and diving team made headlines quite often this season. Sydney Kessler has more on that story.
It took them 7 years, but the SIU swimming and diving team finally surpassed conference rivals Illinois State and Evansville to place second in the MVC championship. Although this was the end of the season for half of the squad, this weekend the Saluki men's team will be traveling to Geneva, Ohio for their chance at a championship title.
We got to get in there and not worry about what other people are doing, but because we can't control that. What we do best is control what we can control, and if our focus is there, then we're going to do very well.
Sherry Zhang has been undefeated all season and walked away with first place in the 1 and 3 meter dive, as well as Conference Diver of the Year. Although this dog wouldn't take all the credit for her success. She believes that it's her coaches that have given her the ability to believe in herself.
Always encouraging me, and I say like you should believe in yourself because you are really good. So I just do what they say, like try to believe in myself, and they really help me a lot.
Diving wasn't the only place where Salukis took home awards. Freshman Kelsey Walker blew away the crowd as she was a part of 2 first-place finishing relays and got first in the 66-lap 1650 meter freestyle.
The 1650, something that I worked hard all season long. I've trained distance all season, and it just felt really good.
Yet even with her young status, this dog isn't new to the waters. Kelsey Walker is the daughter of head coach Rick Walker, who isn't just excited about his daughter's success, but her entire class.
The beauty about Kelsey is that she's got a whole class of freshmen that are equally talented and equally successful, equally hungry, and that is going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Even though Salukis aren't necessarily known for their swimming abilities, these dogs sure made one heck of a splash. For Saluki SportsView, I'm Cindy Kessler.
The men head into action Wednesday, March 4th through the 7th in hopes of bringing home another title to Carbondale. But later on in SportsView, we'll have head coach Rick Walker live in studio, and we'll talk to him about the Saluki swimming and diving team.
Former Saluki tight end Michael Pruitt took part in the NFL Scouting Combine, going from under the radar to on everyone's radar. Pruitt was the top performer for tight ends in every category except for bench press. NFL analyst Mike Mayock raved about the former Saluki tight end's soft hands, his ability to catch in traffic, and his high football IQ. Mayock says the biggest area Pruitt can improve on is his blocking ability, especially around the goal line. Pruitt is training and trying to impress NFL coaches in hopes of being only the second Saluki tight end to have his name called on draft day.
The track and field team has dominated the indoor season so far, thanks in large part to the throwing squad. Jacqueline Boatman takes a closer look at SIU's best throwers.
Throughout the years, SIU has had many memorable throwers, but this year's crop might be the best. Senior Curtis Weidman ranks 18th nationally in the weight throw and 27th in shot put. All of his hard work seems to be paying off.
To see my name finally be mentioned, with some of the greats that came through here, man, it's a marvel. It's marvelous, man. It's a great feeling to know that. When you put the work in, you reap the results.
Freshman Raven Saunders is ranked 3rd in the United States and 7th worldwide in shot put, but in her mind, she still has work to do.
From the whole crew here at Saluki SportsView, we wish good luck to the Saluki track and field team.
When we come back, we'll go behind the scenes of a Saluki All-Access webcast.
Plus, our own Gabe Pishkadamian has the scoop on the new wrestling club starting here at Southern Illinois. We're back in 90 seconds.
Southern Illinois athletes have a camera on them at just about every game. But what about those behind the lens? Our own Zach Miller has a story on the crew behind Saluki All Access.
4, good shot, taking 4, ready 2.
It's almost game time for Shane Gibbons. 2 hours before every home event, video services of SIU Athletics prepare their webcast by checking all cameras and equipment in order to give audience members an experience to enjoy.
Saluki Athletics has partnered with the School of Mass Communications to create this class that basically allows for students to have a chance to get hands-on experience working all kinds of different live sporting events, whether it's volleyball, whether it's men's basketball, women's basketball, football, baseball, softball. There's a little bit of everything.
Students that are interested in broadcasting games can take a sports media production class that is taught by Dennis Galloway, who has over 30 years of experience from working in the MLB to broadcasting college sports.
The first fall he was here, he started showing us from the view of a TV broadcast and not necessarily spurring things to happen, but capturing what's happening.
From working the cameras to working replay, students get the experience they need to prepare for future careers in televising sporting events. If there's any kind of advice someone could tell you, video services will probably say,
getting involved right when you get to school is really the best thing that you can do, and I think this class, if you want to get involved with sports media, is a really important class to take. It's great for both the college and it's great for athletics because it allows us to work with the students to get them better with what they want to do, and also to staff the games and put on great shows.
For Saluki SportsView, I'm Zach Miller.
For those of you who are interested in joining the video service team, just know that you don't have to be enrolled in the class. Video services will gladly accept volunteers if they are interested in the possibility of helping. No experience is required.
Are you a former wrestler or a grappler who misses the mat? Then this club may be for you. Gabe Pishkadamian has the story on the new wrestling club starting here at SIU.
Ken Houston, Terry Finn, Don Millard, and more. Just several of the Saluki Hall of Famers who would be thrilled about the new wrestling club starting this spring semester at SIU.
I'm very excited about it. Wrestling is the oldest sport known to man, so it's a great sense of tradition, and keeping this going is really important to me.
With the help of Chris Attaway and his family, former wrestlers now have the ability to return to the mat.
I decided to start the club because I thought there's a lot of students here who come from wrestling backgrounds and they need an outlet to keep up their sport.
Since the club started, many of SIU students have shown their interest in the new club sport. From having a huge group of participants showing up to practice to club members pitching in money for new wrestling gear.
A pretty representative color grouping for the singlets, the maroon obviously for Southern, and we didn't want to go with a full black singlet because I feel like it's overdone, so we went with more of a charcoal gray to accent the paw print more.
So how much excitement is there about the new club being offered to students at Southern Illinois?
I personally have little to no experience in wrestling, and I'm having a great time getting in shape, and you meet a lot of really cool people that aren't necessarily in your major, so you can branch out some more.
Competition for these guys will not officially start until next semester, but that does not mean that they will not be prepared for future dual meets and tournaments.
Right now we're looking for any help we can with the wrestling club, so if there's any officials out there, referees who want to help train, or any ex-coaches who want to come in and help, we'd appreciate it.
For Saluki SportsView, I'm Gabe Pishkadamian.
If you're interested in joining the wrestling club or want to help fundraise, go to the SIU Rec Center for more information. When we come back, we'll have swimming and diving head coach Rick Walker live in the studio to talk about what lies ahead for his squad. We're back after the break.
If I'm not coming in here and learning, I might as well just stay off the deck. Every day you can learn. And if you aren't, then we aren't moving forward.
Welcome back to Saluki SportsView. Glad to have you with us, and glad to have us with us is swimming and diving coach Rick Walker. Thank you for joining us on the program today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And I hate to make you feel old, but you are in your 28th year at SIU, the longest tenured head coach out of any of the SIU sports. Just what is that? What runs through your mind when you hear those words?
First thing comes to mind is it took me 28 years to get to that, to be the oldest. So, but what a great run. I think I feel like it was yesterday. And I'm just, every time I go in there, I'm more excited, especially with the group that we've had come in this year. We've got a whole new dynamic in our team, and it's just very exciting. So even though I've been here 28 years, I feel like it's still in my honeymoon.
And you've only been head coaching the swimming team since 1992. You actually started here as an assistant.
Yes.
And as I see on your timeline, you actually coached at a couple of YMCA clubs, and you actually went back to your alma mater, Texas A&M, to coach. What ultimately led you here to SIU to coach?
Well, Doug Ingram was the head coach when I first came in here, and Doug actually coached me. So when he was looking for an assistant coach, because they had just combined the program, and men and women together, and I jumped at the chance because I just respected the heck out of this man, and I wanted to learn whatever he could give me in coaching, and I was fortunate enough to get the job. Was able to coach with him for 5 years.
And some of your accolades: a 12-time Coach of the Year, including 4 from the Missouri Valley, 1 from the Mid-American Conference, and also 2 national honors too. And you're one of the most decorated coaches around the country. Just talk about just having that kind of experience. What, how does one even achieve that kind of experience?
I think every one of the awards that a coach gets is really an attribute to the athletes. If they perform poorly, obviously that coach is not going to get recognized. If they perform very well, then I got all kinds of awards coming my way. That's all great, but I need to keep it in perspective and make sure that that I understand it's because of the athlete, not necessarily because of anything that I did.
Now let's talk about the team this year. The women's team came off its best finish in 7 years, placing second at the MVC tournament. Missouri State, for the 8th year in a row, won the Missouri Valley Conference tournament. How tough is it to prepare and compete against a team that's just been so dominant for almost a decade?
This year I think we made it a little easier. In years past, I think we were trying to shoot for that main goal, which is the championship, but we had Illinois State in our way as well. And so we kept tripping over that. This year we focused in on Illinois State, and we felt like if we could bring them down, we will have in the process brought Missouri State a little bit closer. So last year, where we lost by over 300 points, this year we only lost by 95. That's a huge turnaround, and now I think we've got them in sight.
You certainly have the athletes to do it. Sherry Zhang's one of the most impressive divers in the country, finished 3rd nationally in the 1 and 3 meter dives, went undefeated, broke pool records. I mean, how did you come across such a talent?
Joy Chow is our diving coach, and was able to reach back to her connections in China and was able to bring her in. But she was not as confident when she got here. Certainly talented, but Joy has worked with her and helped Sherry, find her confidence, and that's just been huge.
And it's back to work for you next Wednesday. You will be with the men's team for the MAC championships in Ohio. How do you prepare to compete with the likes of defending champ Missouri State and also swimming powerhouse Eastern Michigan?
Same way. These are teams that we're familiar with, and we just have to go at them one at a time. If we're doing that, we're going to be making moves forward, and that's the whole project.
Well, Coach Rick Walker, thank you for joining us here on the program. It was an honor to have you here. When we come back, we'll let you know what's coming up next in SportsView, and we'll talk about the weekend schedule for Saluki Athletics. Stick around.
Here are some of the events going around Saluki Athletics this weekend. The SIU softball team is in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico for a 5-game tournament. Opponents include Northern Colorado on Friday, BYU twice, and Nevada twice over the weekend.
The Saluki baseball team moved their 3-game homestand due to inclement weather. They'll play their 3-game series against Western Kentucky in Bowling Green.
Both Southern Illinois tennis teams are busy this weekend with 2 home outings each. The Saluki men look to bounce back from a dismal 1-7 start to the season. They host Lipscomb on Saturday at 2 p.m. and Vincennes at 1 p.m. on Sunday.
The women's team welcomes Austin Peay Friday at 4:30 and Northern Illinois Saturday morning at 9. Thank you for joining us tonight on Saluki SportsView. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at River Region News. For Zach Scruggs, I'm Danny Valle and more than 100 students who work on River Region Evening Edition. Have a great night.